Ubisoft Forward is this upcoming Monday, and while people are obviously very up and down on Ubisoft, I do think the potential is there for a pretty darn good show. So in this video, I want to go over my predictions, my final expectations for the show. I also just want to throw out there very early in the video, I am going to be co-streaming this one. The Capcom one later in the day is a little bit too late for me to co-stream it, but I will be doing the Ubisoft one. So if you want to watch the Ubisoft Forward with me, come on down, and hopefully we'll have some fun. Hopefully it'll be a good show. Again, I think it's very possible it could be. So let's go over what I think is a guarantee. Let's go over some kind of far out predictions and see where it takes us. So Assassin's Creed obviously being the first thing that pops into my head, right? We know it's going to be there. We know it's going to be a huge part of it. And not even just Assassin's Creed Mirage, but even like Nexus and things like that. So that's obviously what they're going all in on. We've heard even the higher ups at the company talk about double, tripling, quadrupling down on Assassin's Creed. With that being said, Mirage looks really good, and I'm very excited to see more of it. We know the release date, so at this point, it's just give us a little bit more details on the game. Let us see it. We did see it to an extent uncut at the PlayStation Showcase. I want a little bit more of that, right? Put us in the world, show us doing an assassination mission, show us going around talking to people. Let's really feel if this game is going back to like very old age or like Assassin's Creed 1 kind of era, but also keeping, you know, some of the newer mechanics Assassin's Creed has had. That's my main takeaway. That's what I want for Assassin's Creed. And then everything else that they do, you know, I'm kind of a one at a time person, at least for Assassin's Creed. There's like 50 of these games coming out in the next like 5 years. So I'm just focusing on Mirage, and, you know, we're going to get other games as well and updates on them. So it should be fun. Assassin's Creed should be where they really shine in this showcase. You have Avatar, which I do believe they confirmed, so that is like an official thing. I'm excited. There's a lot of things they got to do with this one, right? Because really, up until this point, we've seen next to nothing. We got the trailer, but that was years ago. The game was supposed to come out last year, and it got delayed at least a full year, right? Because if it comes out even this fall, that's a full year delay from when it was supposed to come out. Let's see the gameplay. Put us in there. Let's see the gameplay. That's the main takeaway for me, is I want to see how this game runs. I want to see what you're actually doing in this game. There's been things online suggesting, I've even done videos on it, it's probably a co-op-like game where you can play it multiplayer, like with more than one person. So that may help it. That may be a pretty darn cool thing, and I'm sure they'd maybe show something like that off. And then give a date. You gotta give a date for this one. So this is one that can go either way. I think that it could be like a pleasant surprise how good it looks, or maybe it's just not great. Maybe it looks disappointing, but obviously, again, this one should be here. I do want to throw in Skull and Bones. We gotta talk about just at least a little bit. I did make a full-on video on Skull and Bones about a week ago on this channel, but I hope it's there, if nothing else than just for the conversation that it continues to pop up. And, you know, but again, honestly, get the game out, release this freaking game at this point. No more delays. Just accept whatever quality it is. And normally I'm not like this, right? Most times I'd say delay your game as much as you want. Let's get that fully polished project that you want to do. For this game, no. It's been too long. It's always been so like mediocre in terms of the reception people have had when they've played it. Just give us the game. I'm going to get it. I'm getting it day one, and I'm trying this thing out. So hopefully it's there. I think it will be there, honestly. The bigger question is, will it get a release date? And also, if it gets a release date, does that even matter? Because it's gotten like 4 release dates, and none of those have actually, you know, done anything. So hopefully it gets a release date. Hopefully it sticks with that release date. I think you'll get, by the way, just throwing it out there, I think you'll get like your Just Dance games and stuff like that. These are kind of the ones that are going to stand out to me. I don't really care about, you know, some of these peripheral ones. Some outside predictions. Well, one of them is not too outside, so maybe we'll start there. The Star Wars game, right, from Massive. I really think we'll see it. I think almost we need to see it. It's been long enough that we've known that they've been working on it, and, you know, depending on when it releases, maybe it's next year. I mean, the rumors seem to indicate they want this thing to release next year, right? That was the Kotaku report, I believe, that they hope for the first half of 2024. Realistically, it probably gets pushed. It's maybe like the second half. So hopefully in 2024 period, we get this game. So I do think now is the time to show it, and this is really where there's a couple other things, I suppose, but this is where the show can fluctuate and become like surprisingly good that people didn't really, give them credit for, or it can be, not good, depending on what's shown and I guess the quality of it. So if you show the Star Wars game, immediately it's like, okay, this is something maybe not everybody expected. And then if it's really good, which, just a different Star Wars game, let me see it. We know there's several different Star Wars games kind of in the works from all these different companies, and hopefully it's good. Other things that could do this, though, is like Beyond Good and Evil. Now that's, I think eventually we're going to see it, okay? One day, you're going to see Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's just probably not going to be here, like this year. So this is one, you show it, that would create a huge kind of like internet moment. You don't show it, it's kind of, par for the course. I think something like Prince of Persia, now because of the situation going on with swapping studios and basically restarting from scratch, they just did their update on it, right? They just talked about their update, and because it does sound like it's nowhere near close, right? This is probably 3-4 years out. There's no way. There's no way we get that. So that's sad. That's disappointing, and it probably shouldn't have gone this way, but it is what it is. And then Splinter Cell. I'd like to throw out Splinter Cell. They talked about going dark. To be honest, I don't remember when that was. Dates sometimes get a little foggy when I cover this many games, but I do think it's possible that it could come out here. If not here, then whatever the next one is. If this is like a yearly thing, which they normally do at least one a year, then maybe next year you would show a Splinter Cell. Again, from what we kind of can gather from it, it's also not super close. I feel like, though, at this point, Splinter Cell is probably closer than Prince of Persia, which is kind of wild, but they're still both, I think, relatively early. So I don't know. I wouldn't really expect that one either. So, as we've talked about, this is nothing all that surprising. The show rests on more info for Assassin's Creed, which is kind of a safe bet. Skull and Bones is kind of just like a joke at this point, but I sincerely care. And then, the games like Avatar can fluctuate. Games like the Star Wars game can fluctuate. And that's what I think is going to make or break this show. I really believe that. So, again, hopefully it's good. We'll be watching it live. I'll be covering it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, and I hope to see you there.